Hi, everyone. This is the opportunity to know about the OECS experience. And of course, we are very pleased to be with Emmanuel Chamberlain, the main person about OECS and his experience and of the organization, obvious, about the regional environmental information system. And the goal of this video is share with you, and of course that Mr. Chamberlain share with us, with all this community, the experience of the organization about the environmental information system. So it's a pleasure to be with us, Emmanuel. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you so much, Jana, and it's a pleasure to be on um, from the OECS Commission in St. Lucia.
Thank you. So we can start our interview. And I want to make a first question, Mr. Chamberlain, is about the Regional Environmental Information System. What it is?
Yes, well, probably I can give a little bit of context. For the OECS, we have our overarching framework or mandate, which comes from the revised Treaty of Basel, which establishes the OECS. Within the revised Treaty of Basel, it speaks to the goal of environmental sustainability and the framework which guides us for environmental sustainability is the St. George's Declaration of Principles for Environmental Sustainability. And there are various pillars there. And one of the requirements of the St. George's Declaration is that we have what is referred to as state of the environment reports. In other words, we need to understand what's happening in our environment, whether it be for climate, whether it be for oceans, whether it be for biodiversity, and to be able to paint that picture and be able to have that information for analysis and for decision making and for advocacy, we need to have the data and the information on our various islands. And so a regional environmental information system is critical as a system, as a tool to be able to allow us to gather that information, to process that information, and to be able to ensure that we do it in a way that is efficient and that is reliable so that we can truly represent the situation in our OECS region and make the best decisions possible for our people.
Excellent. Thank you. We have a second question, and this is about which actors are involved and what the roles did they play in the regional environmental information system.
Yes, so there would be various stakeholders that are critical here. Most important would be our key stakeholders at the national level. So we have, for example, in each thematic area, whether it be for climate, for disaster, for biodiversity, etc., there are key governmental and non-governmental actors in the space who have responsibility and oversight of the resources and of the thematic areas. So it is very important that we have their input. Some of them they have the legal mandate to be custodians of various points of data and information. So it's important that they are plugged into the system. We make it as seamless and efficient for them. And that also critically that they see value in the system, not just as reporting to us or through us, but value in having access to that same information so that they can make decisions, they can design their projects, they can design policies at the national level. And they can also learn from the regional space. So not only having access to the thematic or national information, but to see the regional picture so that that would also inform how certain policies and actions are designed. So the most important actors at the national level. Obviously, we also have actors at the institutional level, regionally and internationally. We have experts, who would assist us in processing and analyzing the information. So all of these come together in one ecosystem.
Exactly. The persons, the actors, and the stakeholders maybe is the more important component in a system, right? More
Yes.
at the same time, like the data, like the infrastructure, but also the persons and the actors involved in develop and maintain that system, right?
Absolutely, because we've had experiences where we would have, invested resources in developing, systems in terms of the infrastructure and the software and,
Mhm.
and the hardware. But if you do not involve upfront and in a very, integral way, the persons, the people, and that they have the capacity, they have the knowledge, the training, then that becomes what we refer to as a white elephant, and it just remains there unused. So the approach, in fact, we are taken and with very strong support from ECLA is to develop that capacity, for every country, all of the thematic areas, the people, the understanding of the standards, understanding of the processes, the data, what data is available, who has the oversight of this data, ensuring that the training is done. Because once the capacity and the knowledge and the buy-in of the people
Exactly.
are there, and once they understand the value, then we have sustainability,
Exactly.
and the rest is really the easy part, the
Exactly.
software and equipment, etc.
Completely agree. And the last question in that quick interview for this important person in the Caribbean region is, what about the lesson learned and the way look forward? What is the way forward now that the regional environmental information is working in that place?
Yes, well, some of the lessons we have learned even from trying to get reporting and data in previous times included, you know, the fact that our stakeholders, our member states, have found it, very burdensome. They have limited resources. There is some difficulty sometimes in accessing or producing required data, and the fact that now we have so many frameworks to report to. There's the SDGs, there's the Paris Agreement, there are other
Climate
uh,
change, disaster,
so many.
environmental.
Yes, and the part of the issue is that because in our member states, there are very few persons, sometimes one person heading a unit, dealing with so many agreements and so many
Exactly.
projects, and that becomes the burden. Also, sometimes you have duplication, different agencies asking you for the same information, and so what we and so understanding those complaints and issues, we're hoping to design a system that would be more streamlined, more efficient there, and provide that support, so that we reduce that burden. It becomes more efficient, and it can be used by multiple players. It can link to multiple reporting requirements, and where you also have the issue where you may have projects, you may have other agencies that are picking up information that are relevant to what the member states need to pick up, but there is not that communication, there's not that awareness that this information is available elsewhere. So we're hoping that if everyone links into the regional system, then that visibility is there, and we can determine what gaps still exist and can give assistance to those gaps.
Excellent. Excellent. And at the end, it is a very good lesson learned about not only the Caribbean region, even the LAC region completely, because maybe some countries are finding the space and the people to do a system like that. And I guess your experience and the the answers that you are give us with this quick interview very interesting and clarifying about the experience and the long way to walk uh, with the main goal to construct a national environmental information system.
Yeah,
So
just one more lesson I wanted to add
exactly.
is that what we've found also is many times there are actual efforts towards data gathering, but
Exactly.
because there is no awareness of or agreement on a standard, you will find that we may pick up data with
Hmm.
good intentions, but then they are not compatible.
Exactly.
So it is very important that
Integrated.
we have one standard that is an
Exactly.
agreed standard and a standard that also fits into the international requirements. And so what the work we're doing with ECLAC is very, very important in the tool, the ESAT, you know, that ensuring that there is that one standard, a recognized standard. The countries are being introduced to it, they are being trained, and so once that is done across the
Exactly.
thematic areas, we know we have similar described
Exactly.
indicators and etc., then that will help tremendously. And we already, through other initiatives that we're doing, we're already making the link that they need to ensure that
Exactly.
they refer to this standard to ensure that we do not use resources that do not do not benefit us eventually. So that is very important.
And also spend time, right? Because if the country and national experience is growing, is starting without this kind of information or tools, the work is more long for a long period of time.
Yes,
But with that tools like ESAT as example, this make the way more quick and easy,
yes,
I think, right?
yes. And you have better knowledge transfer
Exactly.
from one to the other so that you don't have to be learning a new system for
Exactly.
every new project or
Mhm.
every new MEA. We're using the same system, everyone knows the system, and it's passed down,
Exactly.
and even the training and the capacity building becomes more efficient.
And maybe, what is your opinion about the? Is not with you when the countries use the ESAT, that is more like a first path to be filled with the data, and of course, every country have gaps about this first path, right? And it's not the important, right? It's not the important to get more or less gaps, sorry. It's more like identify and work together to fill that gaps.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And also taking the regional approach, the fact that
Exactly.
resources from all the countries are using the same
Join.
standards, the same training, then we can share resources, we can share expertise, right?
Excellent.
And together we have more capacity than if everyone is using a different tool and a different standard.
Excellent, Emmanuel. As we can see, Emmanuel and I, we can talk about a long time, but this video has a purpose, and we need to end that this interview. So thank you, Emmanuel, to be here. Thank you for your experience. Thank you for your time, of course, and your last message about.
Well, thank you, Georgiana. Thank you to ECLAC, the team of from the sustainable development and the statistics side. It was really we've had a very strong partnership with. and we look forward to continuing this process and really bringing it to a successful launch.
Thank you. We'll be there. Thank you. See you later.